Hello. Happy almost February. She's back. I didn't give myself a specific set TBR for January, so I neglected to do one of these videos or any kind of TBR video because I had just set my 24 I would like to read in 2024, which are partially on this top shelf. Like all of the top shelf is on that list, and then like 1 or 2 I think are on the lower shelf. So I just kind of was going with that list since I had literally just made it at the end of December. However, it's time for a new monthly TBR from my beautiful TBR jar. I refreshed this. I dumped out all the old prompts, made all new ones on the same exact cut up pieces of paper, but I promise they're new. There's some repeats. I had a few new ones thrown in here, one of which is a Kindle Unlimited book because I do now have the Kindle Unlimited subscription, even though I don't have a Kindle. Reading on my phone, but there are quite a few repeats. So even though it's refreshed, we're not doing anything crazy. Anyways, you guys know how this works. Pulling a prompt, picking a book that matches it. And that's really all there is to it. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay. Right off the bat, we have a book that scares you. So let me think. What is a book that scares you? There's a couple. There's unfortunately a couple that could work for this. One of which is A Little Life. First of all, she's hefty. She is over 600 pages, and second of all, you know, it's like very hard to read, very sad. Just kind of overall a rough experience. So this one scares me, but I will put her in the running. Honestly, a lot of my like literary fictions scare me. So a lot of what's like on the bottom right here. Both of my Anthony Doerrs, Goldfinch. I think I'm either gonna go with A Little Life, which feels like a lot to do for the month of love for February for such a short month, or Anthony Doerr, All the Light We Cannot See, because I actually really want to read this, and it scares me because it's historical fiction. So I think I have to go. I think I'm gonna go with this one. No, I'm kind of going for a little bit of a theme this month because, you know, February, short little month and the month of love. So I kind of want to make sure I have a good spread of books that have a good bit of romance in them. And from what I know about this storyline, there is a romance through line in it, I think. So basically this is a historical fiction, All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. It's set during World War II, I believe. It actually just got turned into a TV show, like a mini series that I really want to watch. But yeah, it's set during World War II. It's about this girl who has to flee Paris when the Nazis invade, and her and her father kind of run like a radio station broadcast situation. And then simultaneously we're also following a young man growing up in Germany who's kind of enlisted by the Nazis to help them like track down people like our main character who's fleeing Paris. Our storylines end up converging, and Anthony Doerr illuminates the ways against all odds people try to be good to one another. Like, I'm excited. The miniseries looks so good, and I want to get to it sooner rather than later. So this, I think, scares me because it's historical fiction, but I'm like confident that I will like it, at least story-wise. Like maybe it'll be hard for me because it's historical fiction, but I do think I will be glad that I've read it. So book number 1. Can you even see it if I put it up here? Yes. Also, I think we're gonna go for 6 books just because February is a shorter month. You know? Let's see. Okay. Okay. Author whose name starts with S. Now, I did, when I refreshed this, I took out a lot of the letter prompts because I got really frustrated with how often I pulled them, considering, you know, I did the entire alphabet for titles and authors. So I just kept a few were actually applicable to the books that I had. So author whose name starts with S, we have Stephanie Garber. I have Carval, Sarah J Maas, which I did start the ACOTAR series, and this is actually my friend Brielle's copy. She's lending me it, and I told her I would start it immediately, and then I didn't. So I'm putting this on here in an attempt to put it on my TBR so that I will get to it. So that's strong contender. E. Schwab, A Darker Shade of Magic, Diane Setterfield, Stephen King. Okay, so that's it. So actually quite a few options here. I think there's like only one clear answer, even though I do have a lot that I could potentially pull, just because, again, I'm borrowing this. This is not my copy. I am gonna get my own copy. Plain. I am gonna get my own copy, but I went to multiple Targets looking for it and they didn't have it in stock, but I know it's cheaper to buy it at Target than Barnes & Noble, so I would rather order it from them because I'm cheap. So anyways, she's lending it to me in the meantime. Thank you so much again, Brielle. So I am going to put it on my priority TBR. I am gonna get to it in February, especially because, like I said, romance themes throughout, and I know that people love the romance plot in this book. So let me just explain, if you don't know, this is the 2nd book in the ACOTAR series, the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas. People love this book. It is incredibly highly rated. I think it's actually like the highest rated book on my current physical TBR, even though this is not my book, again, and people love it. So I'm very excited to get to it. I really enjoyed the first book. A lot of people, this is 5 stars for a lot of people, so I'm excited. Okay, prompt number 3. Female author. Okay, I have quite a few to choose from, and again, the top is my priority TBR, so it's kind of what like I'm focusing on primarily. I know for a fact Cassandra Clare, Jennifer Lynn Barnes with The Natural, which I am very excited to read at some point this year. Chloe Gong. Like, do I start a whole, even though I'm like mid-series, mid-Agatar series, do I start The Last Hours? It's just usually when I start a Shadowhunters book, like, and when I get back into the world, it's like all I want to read. Do I really want to do that to myself? Because I feel like there's a good chance like I'd spend most of February reading that trilogy if I started it. What I'm gonna do, let me look up Olivia Blake. I want to make sure that their gender identity is correct. Let me make sure. Okay, crazy coming out of left field here. This was like the last thing I was expecting myself to pick up, but I think I'm gonna do Alone with You in the Ether. I think I'm gonna do Alone with You in the Ether because I've heard incredible things. I want to try Olivia Blake's writing style. Technically, One for My Enemy is the one that's on my priority TBR, but it's February again, and this is like on the shorter side. It's a very digestible size. It's only a little bit. It's like 250 pages. I think this is what I'm gonna do. So Olivia Blake is my female author for this month. Alone with You in the Ether. From what I know, it is a love story that is very uniquely written, and that's all I really know about it. I used to think it was a fantasy, but I'm pretty sure I think it's just about two ordinary people meeting and falling in love. Okay, very interesting. Yes, I think it literally just follows the two main characters through 6 conversations, which is very interesting. I've never read anything like that, and I'm very intrigued. I know that this isn't like the Olivia Blake book that people like adore, but I think I will still enjoy myself. So Olivia Blake once again on the roster. I'm not going to say this is the month of Olivia Blake because I've said that almost every time I picked one of her books, and I have yet to read any of them. I don't know if you can see all 3 books. We've got a very blue theme going on so far this month. Okay, prompt number 4. Ooh, a book that was a gift. There's actually quite a few on here. Honestly, most of Top Shelf because my friend Maddie went literally crazy with her book buying for me this Christmas. So I have quite a few from her on the top. You know what? Actually, so Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare, actually both my parents and Maddie bought for me. My parents gave me the gift receipt and I got to exchange it for Dance of Thieves, the special Barnes & Noble edition. All worked out perfectly. But since 2, technically 3 people tried to give me the same book, I think this is the perfect one for that prompt. This literally looks like a massive undertaking, but Cassandra Clare's writing for me is super easily digestible, very fast paced. It's like 500-ish pages, but honestly, the font is kind of big. So I'm actually really not intimidated by this book at all. I just have put it off because like I know as soon as I finish it, I'm gonna want the next book, and this just came out last year, so I'll be waiting for a while. But I love Cassandra Clare. I'm very excited to read this book. It's on my 2024 priority TBR, so I think this is going to be book number 4. From what I know, it is the start of a new fantasy series from Cassandra Clare. It follows 2 individuals, one of which is like a magician and one of them is like a body double for the prince of this kingdom that they live in, of like his like swordman protector person. And they're brought together by a failed assassination attempt, and then they are drawn into the criminal underworld, basically. It sounds very like fantastical in the sense that like this is like a very like kingdom magic vibes, which is very different for Cassandra Clare because her bread and butter is like urban fantasies. This is very different for her. I tried to describe this in 24 books in 2024 video and I couldn't think of the correct term for like what this subset of fantasy is called. I'm excited about it. Book number 4? Book number 4. Okay, prompt number 5 is your most recent purchase. Technically it would be Dance of Thieves because like I said, I used a gift receipt to purchase it for Christmas for myself, but technically from my parents. But I don't know if I want to start another series. Like I don't know if I can put a part of another series on this. Can I? I mean, I think it's my most recent purchase. I think I have to. Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. This is the first book in a duology, and this is the Barnes & Noble special edition. It's really pretty. It has gold foiled pages. I think this is a young adult fantasy. People love this duology, like love this duology, and I've heard incredible things about it. There's technically a series that comes before it, but I'm not like super interested in reading that. I'm more interested in just tackling the duology. But it basically, to my understanding, follows an outlaw family. An outlaw family and a big battle is what I've gathered from the synopsis. So I don't know, all I know is people love the world and love the characters in this duology, and I'm excited to try and read more duologies this year because I may or may not be attempting to write a duology, and I would love to see how it's been done before. So that's book number 5. Heavy on the fantasy this month for sure. Okay, this is either gonna be the last one or I'll do one more. We'll find out depending on how good it is. Ooh, okay, a nonfiction book. So easy. I only have 2 nonfiction books on my TBR, which is actually on this bookshelf, but my priority one, which is perfect for, wait, where is it? Oh, it was hiding. Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton, which I've talked about this so many times on my channel. It's kind of like embarrassing that I haven't even attempted to read it yet. Actually, that's not true. I read like the first 3 pages. But basically this is a memoir by Dolly Alderton where she basically just kind of reflects on everything that her relationships and friendships and stuff in her early 20s taught her. And I've always wanted to read it. I've heard nothing but incredible things. I've seen annotations. I've seen Steph Borer's annotations specifically, and I just feel like I would really resonate with a lot of what's in here as a girl navigating parties, dates, friends, jobs, and life in my 20s. So yeah, I'm really excited. I haven't read a memoir since I'm Glad My Mom Died, and well, that's not true. I listened to part of Born Standing Up by Steve Martin, but I'm really excited because supposedly this reads a lot like fiction. So it's actually so exciting. I wanted to get to this sooner rather than later, and I feel like February is the perfect time because everybody's very focused on like relationships and things like that this month. So I think that this will be an overall great thing for me personally. So very excited about this. I will be physically reading this because I tried to start the audiobook and didn't love it. The narrator is very British, and it might even be Dolly, to be honest. It might be Miss Alderton, but it just was like not hitting the way that I wanted it to. So I want to physically read this and physically annotate it. So okay, book number 6. I'm gonna do one more, which is crazy because I actually know that there's another book on my TBR for sure because of my book club. So let me see if I can pull a prompt that I can just squeeze that on there. And if not, I'll be attempting to read 8 books this month. So number 7 is a book with under 400 pages. So let me check, but I'm pretty sure my book club book for this month is under 400 pages. Wait, that's actually so funny. So according to Amazon, the book is exactly 400 pages. But you know what? That includes, you know, acknowledgements and stuff at the end. So that means the actual story is under 400 pages, and I'm counting that. Okay? Okay. So the last book for my TBR for this month, can you even see this? Is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I know you can't see this, so I'm just gonna put it on the screen. This is the book that my book club's reading this month. Just a silly little rom-com because we read what is it called? Because we read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, technically for our last book club gathering, even though we started it in November and then didn't meet on it until January. But we wanted to do something a little bit easier, a little bit lighter for our next one. So we chose Love Theoretically. I've never read an Ali Hazelwood book actually, so I'm very, very excited about it. If you haven't heard of Ali Hazelwood's like STEM romance series, basically she has a bunch of like interconnected, I don't know if it's a bunch, I think it's 3, maybe 2 or 3 interconnected. I'm having a stroke. Do you mind if I have a stroke really quick? She has a collection of 3 interconnected standalone romance novels that follow women in STEM. Love Theoretically is the one that came out last year, if I'm not mistaken, and people love this book. And I'm really, really excited to just have a cute little rom-com palette cleanser on the agenda for next month. So that's gonna be book number 7, and I think that is all I'm gonna choose for this month because let's be real, I'm like averaging 5 to 6 books on like a really good month, and February is short. Feeling good about this. So let me do some reorganizing, rerun you through it. This looks so hefty. This looks like a big stack. Okay, so the official February TBR is Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton, Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake, Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare, All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, The Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas, and Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. Said her, I don't know why it came out like that. Okay, so that's it for this month's TBR. I'm determined to do a couple fun and different versions of this in the new year. I just wanted to get one under my belt with the solid, cleaned out, refreshed TBR jar. I love doing these. Again, I don't know what it is about like having a structured little list to pick from, but it just feels really good, and it feels really good to put from this thing. I don't know what the psychology behind that is, so experts, let me know. Let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions for like fun TBR picking ideas for future months, because I would love to switch it up again. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!